Hey drivers, how's it going? Okay, ladder's done. We've got these barrels down here. We've got this. We've got the pump. I like the pump. You know what'd be nice is if I could make the pump actually come across to here. That would be amazing. I wonder if I could do that. I bet I probably could. Probably just have to drop a piece in here because I'm just trying to expand it to make both sides kind of have a reason to be connected together. So I'll put this back. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to. Oh look, that piece wasn't actually connected to this piece. Dear me. That would have made me extremely cross had I not noticed. Okay, so put that over there anyway. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to just get out my asset browser, like so. Everyone likes browsing assets. You can tell it's getting on. I've been doing this for a while because, you know, I'm going to start coming out with terrible jokes any second. Okay, and put that on there. And I'm going to spin it. Nearly got it 90 degrees there. There we go. Now I'm going to spin it 90 degrees again. Like so. And just move it onto the top of this. Gotta love how it kind of scoots about there. Okay, and just bring that in. There we are. So its nuts are clinging onto the side. And if you find the word nuts hilarious, well, so do I. Don't worry about it. Okay, now this part here obviously was supposed to go into this, and now can't really, which is a shame. So I think what I'm going to have to do is use a slightly smaller piece instead. So I'll get rid of this. Go away. That's it. And instead probably replace it with this one, which is smaller, as you can see. And then all I have to do is reduce the scale on it to about 0.8, which should be enough. Looks like it is. Just bring that across a little bit more. Yeah, as you can see, it's not quite in the right place there, and it's hovering, which I don't want. Okay, now if I go all the way down here, just select all of these. You can kind of line them up a bit, like that. Now you can see we've got some texture overlap going on here. If I do that, we'll get less texture overlap, which is a help. And what I want to do is take, first of all, some pieces from this. So I'm just going to drag them onto here. Okay, just get these lined up a bit. There we are. And now, another one. There we are. And I should be able to grab this, don't want to grab the other one, and that. Just Alt move. Now we should have this curved part at the top here, so what I want to do is just bring that down to about there. And I think I'm going to move it along a bit more. And I'm just going to bring this out. Maybe one more. There. This is the kind of rickety, weird-ass job that you would almost certainly get anyway, so there we go. Now I'll deselect that. That wasn't a deselect, was it? Just bring that up a bit. Bring this down a bit. Okay, so now as you can see we're getting much more of a kind of dynamic feel to the way the pipes are. Now both sides are connecting together, which is good because it means that obviously the two sides are linked to each other now. They have a kind of common purpose. There's the control tank here, which is feeding gas obviously into these control tanks over here. Here's like some sort of main pump and some additional tanks here that perhaps are empty, we don't know. Down there's another tank feeding in and some control panels and things. And all this originally just from like one empty area. We've got the two barrels down here, remember, that do nothing, and this. We don't even know what that does, but that's cool because it's still there. Plus, of course, the rocks that drop down. I had a feeling that I'd like paused by accident. Thankfully, I haven't. Okay, so I think the final thing really for this level, we've got this kind of clear area here. If I just look around, there's our joystick, which would indicate that that's our starting area. I don't really want to keep the starting area there, so I'm going to move it over here. It says bad size, that's because it's intersected. If it's intersected, that's no good, so just bring it up until it stops being intersecting. There we go, and you can see that's how big you are when you start. And that's what you'll see, like that. Now, I was told I should probably put in some lamps. So, I've got one over there already. So I think what I'd like to do is just have a look and see if there's any kind of architecture that might suit here. Also, while I'm thinking about it, something I did want to do is to take this fence and just duplicate it way over here like that. Got to be careful obviously because I don't want to stick it inside of my staircase, but I do want it coming onto there. And now I'm going to just carefully, like really carefully as well, swing this around. Like that, and then move it again. So just get this to here. Because that way we're locking the player into one area, which suits me fine. I prefer being able to have the player kind of constrained as to where he can and can't go. Especially when we've got a level like this. Got to remember, kind of on the other side of this we might have scenery or anything. So pop that in there. Okay, just rotate this to about there like that. Just move that to there. Not too much, just a little bit. Okay. There we are. So we've got these pieces here. We've got plenty of scope for perhaps dumping things in front of it. We can have a look and see if there's anything there. I mean, obviously avoid putting things in that are going to be comedy size too big. This, for example, is quite huge, whereas that isn't. See? Remember our girder support. So just have a think and, you know, think to yourself, well, what's going to work in here? Let's see if I can find something that I like. There's a railing there. I could put a railing underneath this. Like that, just to stop people kind of going underneath it. Although I think that would be a bit pointless. We're not really that... Looking at it, you wouldn't really kind of have that level of safety here. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon, does it? There's some more bits of old rock and a doorway at the inside of a doorway. There's a nice little uplighter. So you see, we could kind of have the uplighter just there, adding light to our scene. Although, you know, if this is going to be a place that's got heavy machinery, that'll get damaged. So it's an unlikely thing to have. It's more likely that we'd have it as a downlighter. Perhaps somewhere like this. Okay, so I mean that's another possibility. Although, again, to be honest, we've already got this one here, and why are they likely to buy different lights from different suppliers? So, I mean, it's up to you really. You're going to have a look around and see what you think is going to work. I really just like taking parts out of this that, you know, maybe weren't even designed to be used with this sort of thing. It gives you a chance to really mess around and come up with something. Like these. It's kind of weird things here. You can stack them up. So many useful shapes. So I think what I'm going to put down on this is, look at that pipe. I could kind of hang these over the top of it, or have these hanging down from inside here. They look quite effective when you have them hanging off pipes and things like this, although you have to obviously have some continuity. I'm just kind of looking at ways that we can finish dressing the scene without having too much stuff in it, you see. We could kind of add additional pipes to this and have them hanging over it. These ones here would be ideal for that. There's some really tangly ones here, and it's really easy to make these yourself anyway, so... I quite like that rock. Remember, we've already got one down the bottom anyway. We could probably stick another, just another big rock here like that. We don't know why the rock's been left there. But, you know. There you go, you see, you could have a flower sticking out the top of it like that, although this would infer this is now a very warm area, or a very warm and damp area to have a fern in it. And of course it wouldn't be too likely to grow very near that grating there. So again, I'm just trying to get you to think about what you're putting down here. Waterfalls, nice. There's another piece of rock here, which I'm just going to move next to this one. It's always nice having a few pieces of rock together. Even if we don't know why they're there, they would normally be clumped together. There's a little pile of rubble. And that pile of rubble's going to be better off actually underneath some of these, I think. Let's just increase the size of it a bit. Not too much though, just a little bit. Then I can just stick it underneath here. Reduce the size of it a little bit. There we go. Again, this is all just part of the noodling process, you know, coming up with shapes. Things that you think might work. Alright then. So, I've gone through these now, and we've got quite a few bits that are just making up this model. I quite like the idea of adding this like weird castle part out of nowhere, but I'm going to resist it. So many lovely rocky bits. See? Castle Rockburg. Huge rock out of nowhere, just dumped on it. Very easy to make in ZBrush as well. I'm just quite enjoying having a look through some of these shapes. Clothesline, that's a nice one. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. Prospect of just sticking a large tree here for no apparent reason. I quite like. Look at that, just tree out of nowhere. I really like that as well, but it wouldn't really come through here. It'd kind of rip up all these stones if we had it, unfortunately. Anyway, we're going to leave this as it is, I think. So, I think what I'm going to do is just grab that light, because I was going to anyway, and it's I'm getting distracted by all the shiny things. You know what it's like, you get distracted in here. Oh, should I stick that on? And this is what you've got to avoid, especially when you get near the end of something, like making a segment like this. Adding too much crap is just going to ruin your model. Now, like I was mentioning before, I mean, if you looked at that downlighter slash uplighter, you know, you're not going to use various different kinds of lights. You're going to use a specific light. You might use a couple, but you're still only going to use, you know, the particular kind of light that comes from the contractor that creates this. Yeah? Mad as it may sound. There we go. So there you go. There's some lights. I've got a light down here. You can stick another light here. Turn it round. Okay. I mean, if you don't want that light, then you can always go for one like this. Just obviously remember you have to have it hanging out the wall at the correct height. They do look like they're from the same manufacturer, but I prefer the one that's just stuck in the wall like this. Okay, so that is our level kind of drawn out and built. Well, not our level, our scene asset. Okay, our level's going to be made out of lots and lots of these, so it kind of makes more sense having it this way. Yeah, and hope you found this bit useful.